Hey you guys, I'm Stacy and this is Gorgeously Aging, and today you guys I have a Pat McGrath haul. I took advantage of the Pat McGrath New Year's sale and got some things I've had my eye on. Now for those of you maybe not familiar with Pat McGrath, it is high-end products, so it's not something that I purchase regularly, but I did want to review some products because one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time is a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. And I will share that with you guys in a little while. I got a brand new one here that I'm going to share with you. We've got the Sublime Skin Fetish Foundation. We're going to see how that wears on mature skin. I've got the Sublime Perfection Concealer. We've got a few lip products, blush, and a few other goodies here that I'm going to share with you when I do this makeup. I'm starting today with clean skin. I just have my skincare and my sunscreen on. So we're going to jump right in with the foundation. This is the Sublime Perfection Foundation, and this is said to be medium soft focus coverage, and it is $68. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a pump of this on the back of my hand. You guys, I'll list all the colors and links in the description box below so you can check those out. If I remember correctly, this one has 5 stars. So it is a nice loose formula, which I like for mature skin. I'm going to go ahead and use my sponge and go ahead and just press this in, starting at the center of the face. Now, of course, you could use your fingers. So I love a thinner formula of foundation that gives you a nice medium coverage. I think that is so flattering on mature skin. One of the things I will say is skin prep and making sure you have a good base on your skin, meaning good skincare, hydration, moisturizer, sunscreen, that really helps to prep the skin for foundation. I'm going to take another pump here. My sponge is eating up some of this. Another thing to consider is face shaving or dermaplaning, because as we get older, we have a little bit more of that fuzz on our face, and that doesn't bode well for foundation makeup. And I think a lot of women that are aging give up on foundation because of the texture on their skin. But with really good skincare and dermaplaning or face shaving, it provides a better canvas for the foundation. Now, a damp sponge will shear this out a little bit. Looking at it right now, I'm feeling like I like the coverage. It's not too matte or dry looking. I'm not sure that this is the most flattering on my pores. It's not bad, but I do think the Dior Forever Matte is a little bit more pore friendly. I'm going to mist my sponge with some Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to see if having a slightly dampened sponge with some setting spray will make this a little bit more seamless. So depending on how much coverage you like, you may want a damp sponge to shear it out just a little bit. I mean, I think it's really pretty. It does come in 36 shades, so there's a good shade range, which I always like because I find it sometimes really hard to get a perfect shade. This one seems to be really nice for me. One thing I will say, Pat McGrath has really good quality packaging. This is a nice heavy frosted glass package, and then the pump is a nice gold. I just think it's really pretty. Her packaging, especially the eyeshadows, are exquisite. I'm going to move on to the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. I don't have a Pat McGrath contour, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. Lately I've been liking a brush for my contour, brush it in, and then sometimes I'll take the sponge and further blend. I like to make sure I get it way back into the hairline. And if you don't have a large forehead, you certainly don't need a forehead contour. Sometimes just a little bit off on the sides if you have a shorter forehead is enough. I really love this contour by Charlotte Tilbury. For the longest time it was out of stock and I couldn't get my hands on it and really wanted to try it. I kept thinking it was just really viral hype and it really wasn't that good, but it really is that good. Stays on so nice, blends in so nice. I just love the thinness of it. The Pat McGrath foundation is self-setting, so I think that's one advantage with mature skin, is that you don't need to set it with powder. All right, we're going to use the Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Concealer. This is a flawless full coverage, 36 shades for $34. It is a lightweight full coverage flex form matrix, so it's supposed to move with your skin, which I think would be really great for mature skin and avoid some of that creasing we get under the eyes. One of the keys is to use very little product. So I'm just going to put a dot here, and then some right here. And then I'm going to take a concealer brush. I'm actually going to use this tapered Morphe brush. I actually like the shape of this for concealer. Now I don't know if I picked the best color. This is a bit yellow for me, but I'm going to blend it in and see if I can make it work. I like a lighter concealer under the eyes just for that brightness, and then I like to pull it up towards the hairline for some lift and get a little bit on the eyelid to correct any discoloration. I do have some lashes on. These are the Ardell Demi Wispies. I really like these. So I find patting out the concealer with a slightly dampened sponge really does help meld it into the skin. And sometimes I'll take a Q-tip and just make sure there's not any excess product in the corners. We want to keep that bright, but I don't like it when there's product buildup. It just gets creasy. I've had a couple people ask me about my new rings. I just did an Amazon jewelry haul, so I'll do a video on that, but I'll also list the jewelry that I wear in my videos in the description below. Because I found that years ago when I bought really high quality 24 karat gold jewelry, I would get bored with it and then wish I hadn't spent all that money on it. And so now I tend to buy plated jewelry so that I don't feel as bad about changing things out seasonally, buying new stuff. And I'm just going to clean off my lips. So far I'm happy with this base. It's going to be, the true test is going to be wearing it throughout the day, so I will check back in and let you guys know how the total makeup look is wearing, but I'm most interested in the base makeup, this foundation, and the concealer. So we'll see how it holds up. So because the foundation is said to be self-setting, I am not going to set with powder. I don't want to emphasize my pores, fine lines, or wrinkles, so I am going to move on to the blush here. Now I typically really like cream blushes, but I do have this palette with some blush options and a little highlighter. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some blush here. So I'm going to use a combination of these two colors. I love the Pat McGrath formula on the blushes. They go on so nicely, they're not patchy, and they don't look powdery or gritty on the skin. Yeah, that's pretty. So here is what this looks like. And I'm going to just use a little bit of that on my nose, Cupid's bow, and bridge of nose here. I do have the Pat McGrath Highlight and Balm Duo. So this side is the balm, and it just gives the skin a nice fresh glow, if you can see that. Clear. And then this side is the highlight. So it has a bit more sheen. So I'm going to just put a little bit of highlight here and press that in with my sponge. So it gives a really pretty glow without being glittery. It's just a really nice sheen. I hope you guys can see that on camera. All right, let's move on to eyes. This is such a gorgeous palette, you guys. This one is the Mothership Bronze. I will link this down below, but look at those colors. They're just beautiful. That's one thing I will say about Pat McGrath, is that the eyeshadow palettes, they're like a piece of art. I absolutely love them. And it comes in the most gorgeous case. So this is the outer packaging. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to go into this beautiful shade right here and just build up right above the crease, back and forth and lifting upward just to give some base color. And you could stop right there and that would be plenty enough. Years ago doing eyeshadow, was not something I enjoyed. I always just felt like I didn't wear eyeshadow well, and I have come to love it and feel naked without eyeshadow. It really can lift the eye, and I think on aging skin that's so important. I like to lay down the densest amount of pigment out in the corner, and then once that's off the brush, kind of blend it inward. I'm going to move to a little bit smaller tapered brush. There's this one here. I'm going to go in with this little deeper color. Pat McGrath has a brilliant, beautiful eyeshadow formula. I think there are very few eyeshadows that compare to the quality or just the texture, longevity, blendability of Pat McGrath, but they are expensive. So I'm just going to deepen up the outer corner, create a little bit of an angle here, and repeat that on this side. Sometimes on aging skin, it's great to do more of a patting than a rubbing or sweeping, especially if your skin is fairly loose. You can do like light pats to blend. And this is where quality eyeshadows come in better, because some of the cheaper brands you really have to blend and blend and blend, which is a lot of tugging on the eyes. So sometimes it does pay to get a really nice quality eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use this beautiful pink shimmer. It's gorgeous. Eyeshadows make me so happy. It's like when you're a kid and you get excited about going to art class. That's kind of how I feel about eyeshadows. I hope that's showing as beautifully on camera as it is in person. I'm actually going to take a smaller flat brush and spritz it with a little bit more of that Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. And I'm going to go back into that pink shimmer. And then I'm going to pick up some of this light color here. This is a beautiful kind of beigey shimmer. It looks kind of white here on camera, but it has a little bit more of that beigey champagne undertone, just to lighten up the inner part. I'm going to take a pencil brush like this. Here it's dry. Go into that same color here. And just pop that right here and here. And then I'm going to take a little smaller eyeshadow brush. I want to go back into that deep color again and just add a little bit more depth in that upper crease. Of course, this is optional, but I tend to build up as I go. Yeah, that's pretty. I like that. I'm going to go back with a fluffy brush and just gently buff that out. There are some other beautiful colors. Like, I'm excited to try this one here. This beautiful, I mean, look at how gorgeous that is. I'm almost tempted to put some on, but I like how this eye look is looking. And then this color here up in the upper corner. I mean, so gorgeous. There's a rich purple here. If you want to deepen it up, I mean, I might use that yet. You know what? I really want to try this color right here. It's so pretty. Even though I really like this eyeshadow look as it is, I kind of want to try this. So I'm going to go into this with a dampened brush and just hit like the outer portion. Kind of the center to the outer part of the lid, the movable lid. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of this darker color on the edge of a flat brush and just tie it in with the upper shadow. Alright, I have the Pat McGrath eyeliner here. This is in black, a beautiful felt tip liner. And I'm just going to go over my falsies here, the lash band. So that glides on really nicely, very pigmented. Made a little oopsie here. And I need to extend this wing just a little bit here. I like to go in the corner and pull upward. I don't have a Pat McGrath eye pencil, so I'm going to use the Thick It Stick It by NYX. This is nice because it has fibers in it, and I like to go against the grain of the hair and then upwards. One thing I would say about this product is it gets a little bit thicker inside the tube, so it doesn't last as long. I feel like I'm ready to get a new tube of this. So this lip pencil in the color Structure is such a beautiful shade, very creamy. I'm super excited. Out of all the things I got, when I swatched this, I was like, yes, I love the color of this lip pencil. All right, this is a beautiful sheer lip balm. I will list the color down below because I can't see it, but I love the Pat McGrath packaging. It is so pretty with the lips on it. And I love a good lipstick, but my lips have been a little on the drier side this winter, so I think a lip balm over a lip pencil is so nice. So I'm just gonna touch up a little bit on the eyeliner here in spots that I know will bother me if I don't. And then I'm going to hit my falsies with a little mascara just because sometimes eyeshadow will get on them. I don't like them to look dusty. You could take a damp spoolie if you don't want to put mascara on them. A damp spoolie works so well. And then I'm just going to hit the bottom lashes just a tiny bit. Okay, so here is the finished look, you guys. I will check back in like 4 hours or so just to see how the foundation is wearing, how the overall makeup look is wearing. I love the eyeshadow palette. I think this is going to be my new go-to. I find myself to be kind of a collector of Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. They're a big splurge that I get only once every couple of years. But when I do, I absolutely love them, cherish them. It feels luxurious to use them. The formula is fantastic. So I find it to be a really good investment. There are a lot of less expensive palettes that will give you a beautiful result. So certainly a Pat McGrath palette is not necessary, but it is just such a beautiful splurge. I think this lip combo is so pretty. I'm super happy about this purchase. And this balm and highlight stick is super nice. For those of you who have been wondering if it's worth the splurge, as far as the contour wand goes, I absolutely love it. I have no regrets. I waited forever because it was always sold out. And when I finally got it, I was actually a little bit like bitter towards it. Like, this is just hype. It's not going to be that great, but this is a very awesome product. Okay, I'll be back in about 4 hours. So it has been 4 hours, and I have to say, unfortunately, I am disappointed with the Pat McGrath. This is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. I feel like it's kind of breaking up on my skin. It's clinging to all the imperfections, and I feel like my pores look worse than they usually do. It's been a long time since I've really disliked a high-end makeup product, and that's always so frustrating when you spend high-end price tag on a product. But I will say the eyeshadow is fantastic. I really like it. It's holding up well. I'm on the fence. I think the concealer is nice. I just got the wrong shade. I like that Flex technology. I can't say that it's really creasing. You know, it's a good foundation. I just wish the shade match or the shade undertone was a little bit better for me. I think the lip products are super pretty, so I will list those down below. And I actually really like this highlight wand. It's a highlight and balm. So this side is like a clear balm and that side's the highlight. I actually really like this, so I'm going to keep using this one. I'll probably get really good use out of this one actually. But here is the lip combination that I used, and I'm super happy with that. So it's a pass for me on the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish. I may try this at another time, maybe not in the winter, or use a primer or make sure my face is not dry. I did do a little overnight peel last night. So my skin was slightly flaky when I woke up, but after I washed it and moisturized it, it felt fairly hydrated to me. So I thought it would be a good canvas for this foundation. So maybe it isn't so much the foundation as it is that I did an overnight peel last night. So I may try this one again, come back to it, but even so, I have foundations that would perform better even with a little bit flaky skin. If you guys like this video and review, please give it a thumbs up. And if you've used any Pat McGrath products, let me know in the comments which ones you like, which ones you don't like. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys for spending a little bit of your day with me. I will see you in my next video.